There are no American combat forces in Laos.
We weren't supposed to be there as a military.
We do have aerial reconnaissance. We do have perhaps some other activities. I won't discuss those other activities at this time.
During the Vietnam War, another conflict was being secretly fought in neighboring Laos. Laos was neutral. Yet the North Vietnamese had launched an offensive into the northeast portion of that country and the home of a peaceful agrarian hill tribe known as the Hmong.
We have been providing logistical support and some training for the neutralist government in order to avoid Laos falling under communist domination.
So the CIA identified General Vang Pao, a Hmong general, and armed him with ammunition and aircraft to help stop that communist incursion.
Yeah, go with those two guys. That's it. So I went with them too, and I went to the front of the plane. I pray.
With the help of the United States CIA, the Hmong fought back with arms, ammunition, and 8 outdated but rugged T-28 attack aircraft.
This is the battlefield in Laos. These are government troops supported and financed by the United States.
They wanted to push back, and we helped them push back. The Hmong are on the front lines. Will you, General Vang Pao, lead your people to fight the communists if we give you T-28 aircrafts and if we give you ammunition? And Vang Pao's response was, if you give me ammunition and you give me airplanes, I will fight. And he did.
Trained to fly in Thailand by a select group of American instructor pilots, these Hmong pilots returned to Laos and flew fearlessly, relentlessly, and with such skill that they became combat pilot legends, even to their American counterparts.
Who are these guys? They fly 8, 9, 10 missions a day. That's impossible.
Each one of us that ended up at UDORN were all instructors before. We had instructed various national pilots from around the world. We'd had Vietnamese, we'd had Iranians, Saudis, a lot of South Americans, stuff like that.
The Hmong were by far the most dedicated of all. They worked the hardest, and it meant the most to them to accomplish their goal of being a pilot.
They were the most dedicated and skillful people that I think any of us ever saw.
They are capable and they are the best.
When I was assigned to YA and we started flying together, I knew a potential pilot when I saw one. And this guy had all the indicators. Sharp, smart, fast learner, highly, highly, highly committed. These guys were going to be flying life and death combat. Within months after I started flying with him. And it really hit me hard that the best way that I could possibly teach all of them, not just YA, was to take my hands and feet off the controls.
4 decades later, these heroic Hmong pilots were finally recognized and honored for their service to America during the U.S. secret war in Laos.
Why not have an exhibit that honors the Hmong for their service during the U.S. secret war in Laos? The pilots who flew that T-28. Let's go out and find a T-28, and that'll be the signature exhibit that will pull all of us together. Then we had to set about finding a T-28, which is not easy to do in the budget range that a nonprofit organization can afford. But finally we did find one in a hangar in parts in Rockford, Illinois. The price was right, and we went down there and took a look at it. It was about 90% there, and I thought, wow, this is going to be a tough one to put back together, but we've got to take it. Well, as it turns out, this T-28, we had no idea of its history when we acquired it. But we looked back and found out that this particular T-28 actually trained Hmong to fly at UDORN Royal Thai Air Force Base in Thailand by American pilot instructors. And when we found that this aircraft actually did what we are attempting to commemorate here, historically and through this exhibit, it was one of those moments where it was just meant to be.
A T-28 aircraft, one that was actually used to train Hmong pilots to fly, was restored and dedicated in their honor by local EAA Chapter 766 at the Aviation Heritage Center of Wisconsin in Sheboygan Falls.
Working on the team was a chance to get back into something that I absolutely passionately love. Everybody here brought something to the table, even if it was just enthusiasm.
It started out as, for us, it was just another airplane. We weren't quite, sure the impact or the significance behind it. But as the project progressed, we learned what this project was really about. So what started out as a, hey, fun, let's do project, ended up being this is serious now. This is to honor a group of people and honor the culture that's in our area. So it became, even though it was fun along the whole way, it became also significant to us.
9 of the living Hmong pilots attended the ceremony, as well as the families of 5 others who were killed in action. Several of the American instructor pilots who taught the Hmong to fly the T-28 in Southeast Asia were present to honor their former students. U.S. Senator Ron Johnson and former Air Force One pilot Greg Kaon presented each Hmong pilot and a family representative of Hmong pilots killed in action with a certificate of appreciation from the Aviation Heritage Center for their service.
What is it in men and women? What causes them to offer themselves, to sacrifice so greatly for their families, for their fellow man? What causes people to give up everything, display that level of courage? Well, as I was reading more about General Vang Pao, it was because of freedom.
The event today was a culmination of a dream, and a dream that a lot of people questioned whether or not we could accomplish. And with the help of a lot of different individuals, it came true. And one of the most rewarding things about this event was bringing back together people who have not seen each other for more than 40 years. Seeing all of them come back together for the first time, relive their memories, relive their stories, to see the T-28 out back, the only one in the world that has the Royal Lao Air Force markings on it, just like the ones they flew out of the most secret place in the world, is immensely rewarding. And when you see the hugs, and you see the tears, and you see the smiles, and you see the handshakes, and when the actual T-28s of the Trojan Horsemen flew overhead, to see the reaction and the looks on the faces of the Hmong pilots, those are the sounds of freedom, the sounds of death, the sounds of fear, the sounds of liberation, the sounds of war that bring back a lot of mixed emotions to those Hmong pilots who, even by the American pilot standards, flew fearlessly.
It's absolutely fantastic to see these men here after 40 years that have come to this country and are here now. It's just fantastic.
My eyes were misting up. This is the first time that I really had a chance to think about and consider what they went through back then in fighting for their own homeland.
Today is just, what a culmination. You just never thought about it. I don't think that we ever thought it would be this beautiful for them and for us. It was just a wonderful experience all the way around.
Thank you for the Aviation Heritage Center here to put our information, our history out, so everybody can see and knew what we had done. Yeah. I appreciate from the bottom of my heart.